What's it all about, Alfie? That's a question in a movie. Has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now, except for what's it all about. First of all, life in general is for the service of God, for the service of Yahweh. And if you're not serving Him, then you're probably serving the God of prosperity, which means you're, living to make money, and the more money you have, the happier you are. The love of money is the root of all evil, not money in general. Obviously, money is part of what makes our our society tick. It's the unit of exchange right now, although there are ways of using barter for private sales with people. But really, we're here to serve Yah. And so that's our number one purpose. Our land is dedicated to Yahweh. Torah is kept here as much as it can be. I know there are brothers out there who say very little of Torah is being kept, and he's probably right. But the part that is being kept is we will eat no pork here, we will keep his Shabbat, and we will celebrate his feasts. And his name is safe here. People will not be persecuted for saying his name here. That's our number one goal. Number two goal is retirement and self-sufficiency. And so all these things are working together hand in hand. So I was thinking about that the other day, all the different aspects of our life right now, because it's a very strange life compared to what we did 20 years ago. And it occurred to me, Pastor and I living the way we do every single day is very unusual for people in general and couples in general. Most people are living to be comfortable, to have all the amenities, to have everything that makes life quick and easy. And things like, drones and Amazon and all the stuff I've talked about, future coming is just along those lines to make your life easier and easier. If you look at life before electricity was discovered and standardized and then put into each house, that life is very much the life that we're living now. And it's very much the life that people have lived for thousands of years. And then suddenly electricity comes along and you can have lighting on a constant basis, not the sunlight to sundown kind of light, but you can have light all night long if you want it. Same thing with heating. You can have uniform heating. Even with a wood stove, your heat is not uniform. It gets hotter when the logs are burning at their fullest, and then it gets cooler as they burn down, and you can put another log in, and you can sort of keep it to a temperature you like, but it's not a constant temperature. And so life with electricity becomes very uniform and very standard, and it's very prosperous for thousands and millions of people to be able to communicate with the telephone, to have the lighting, to have the heating, and then cooking and keeping your food cool, which is a whole thing. I mean, the kind of society that on-demand eating creates is different than the kind of society that can freeze its food and make meal planning 2 weeks in advance and be able to bring food here. It's not as immediate. It's not as well, the one where you have to kill and eat or your food goes bad very quickly is dependent upon that food every day, like an everyday source of fresh food. So you're going to need more livestock. You're going to need other ways of preserving your food and things like that. And so we've experienced all of that. For some people, this kind of lifestyle would break the couple up. Some couples, when life becomes more difficult, when it becomes less ease, when it becomes more dependent on their hard working each and every day, it breaks them up. They can't handle it. Perhaps the husband thinks, well, she should have a cold drink for me every night when I come home from work. Well, when you are cooling your drinks in something like a spring house or hanging it down a well or however you're doing it, that becomes a lot harder and his comfort level goes down. Same thing with keeping them warm. You know, if the woman goes to bed at night and she's cold, she's looking at her husband thinking, why is he not providing me with heat? You know, I married him for a reason, and that was to make my life more comfortable. He thinks I married her for a reason, and it starts to drive them apart. You see rich couples get driven apart by, you know, petty little things like you don't answer your phone or you're on your phone all the time and whatever. So this lifestyle can be a real test of people's mettle. It can be a test of your relationship. Some of you already know, just trying to get your spouse to prep or to go camping with you is a huge battle for the very same reasons. And so here's my kind of challenge for you. Here's my thought for you. If you have no one, if you're looking for someone to join up with you, either as a group or as a spouse, and you're going to live a lifestyle like this, where are you going to look to get them? Are you going to go to the local Apple store? Or are you going to go to things like a Red Cross first aid training, a training for solar energy, a class on how to split and store wood, how to build a cob oven? People who have interests in a lifestyle like this are going to be pursuing those interests. They're going to be looking into these skills or doing these skills, or even buying books about these skills or watching videos about these skills. And so that should give you an indication to the kind of people you need to hang out with or try to hook yourself up to, you know, to find a spouse for yourself. And again, the Lord is the one who leads you, but there's nothing wrong with you being out there, like I said, socializing in a situation that could lead you to that person. And so be looking for people in places that are similar to what your interests are. If you take a Red Cross first aid class, then if you're in a situation with that same, you know, those same people, when an emergency happens, you're going to react to it. You're all going to be of the same mindset. I know how to deal with this. I know what I'm going to be doing, versus you doing something and the person next to you is standing there like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? Who would you rather be with? So that's just my thoughts for the day. Because it occurred to me yesterday, Pastor Joe and I have been living this way for 4 years, and we have small discussions about what's the best way to heat and light and etc. But we don't let these things drive us apart. We are still a unified pair, and that's what's important, to be unified in this kind of walk. All right. Hope this enlightens somebody and uplifts you in some way. Appreciate all of you. Shalom.